missing someone. Love with all your heart. Missing someone. Love with heart.
So your wedding is next, right? Okay. So this is your hair for your wedding. So we're gonna brighten up some of it, right? Do your roots like we normally do, and then try to get the ends a little bit lighter because it's kind of gotten a little darker. And we haven't lightened it in like maybe a year, like the ends, right? We've just been doing your roots. And then are we doing a trim too?
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a little one.
And then which toner do you want to do?
The one that you did.
The like silvery one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is a regular client of mine. She comes in, I would say every like 8 to 10-ish weeks to get her roots touched up. And the reason why she comes in that often is because she likes a really bold, bright blonde, and we do it in a highlighting way so that it grows out soft against her natural, yet keeping her nice and bright, but also slightly dimensional so that it grows out really soft compared to like a bleach and tone. If you guys don't know what a bleach and tone is, it's when the blonde is completely solid, and that requires a client to come in every 6 to 8 weeks. So doing it this way, she's able to go, I would say like 8 to 10 weeks depending on what she's feeling. But we go in and pretty much just do an extremely like just heavy blonding highlight every time she comes in. So what I'm focusing on as I'm doing her touch up is for sure picking out any piece that has like the longest dark root to keep her ends nice and solid. And for this transformation, I am of course using my favorite Danger Jones lightener. And since we're going to be doing a full packed head of highlights, back to back slices throughout her whole head, it's not a partial, it's a full, I want to make sure that I start off with a bowl that is going to be a little bit weaker than the rest, because by the time that I finish, I don't want to have to rinse out foils in the middle of foiling. So I always start off with a bowl of pretty much a mixture of like 5 volume and 20 volume. And then just to kind of dilute that 20 volume in the very beginning so that by the time I do that first bowl of that additional 5 and 20 volume, I can just move on to 20 volume and have everything just kind of process at the same strength level. And I find that this just works for me. I would say it takes me about like an hour to foil this client, and I do my signature placement, which is going to detail the hairline like you saw, but then take the center part in the back. And you can see I take it pretty wide up the center. Now let's say the client parts their hair to the side, I will kind of shift this section depending on their part line. But primarily, it's pretty much close to the center as possible with incorporating wherever they part their hair. In this case, this client parts her hair in the middle, so it's going to be right in the center, and I try to add in as much hair as possible. So now that I'm doing her money piece, I'm going to be doing slices back to back because she loves to be super blonde. She wants to be a highlighted client, but also have the illusion that she might be solid. She might be a bleach and tone. So I want to make sure that I pack in these highlights very thin, very close together to kind of make her feel super duper blonde. So I do a few slices back to back. And by back to back, that means I'm not doing any negative space at all until maybe like the 4th foil. And then when I do kind of incorporate the negative space to kind of blend and match the back center section, I take extremely thin slices for my negative space and then gradually match what I've been doing towards the back. And by now, since she's been coming into me like clockwork every couple months, I know exactly where I left off last time. That is one of the main reasons why I utilize slicing, is because it makes it my job 1,000 times easier to kind of pick up where I left off last time. the reason why I'm able to foil her hair in about an hour, even doing like a full back-to-back weave like this, is one, the placement, but also doing slices, because I'm able to just clearly see how clean my sections are, and I know exactly where I left off last time, so I know exactly which slice to pick up when I'm doing her retouches like these. And it just makes it visually very easy for me to just pick up and do my slices without damaging the hair. Like, I'm not spending a lot of time picking through the hair, making sure that I don't overlap, because I already know that since I did slices, I know exactly where to retouch an old slice and go from there. And that's kind of how I maintain her to look super blonde and really solid on the ends, even though we do foils. So in addition to doing her roots, you can tell in the consultation that we haven't really lightened her ends in a really long time. And the reason, because I don't like to lighten the ends every time she comes in, because I don't want to over process her hair. She likes to be a really platinum blonde, but there are times where I just kind of have to say no to brightening everything all at once. So I try to save doing like the brightening of the ends and doing like a wet balayage for like special occasions, or if it's been like a few sessions without doing it, because it's really not the best to do it every time your client comes in if they're going to such a light level from being such a darker level, I would say. And for this particular client, she's not like a level 3 or anything. I would say she's closer to like a level 5, maybe borderline level 6, and she lifts extremely well. But nonetheless, I just like to be a little extra cautious so that I don't overlap or over process the hair, because she does come in pretty often to kind of get her blonde touched up, and every time we do touch it up too, she loves the tone already. So I just find that if a client doesn't 100% need it or is complaining about it, then just kind of leave it as is and just tone to whatever they've washed out at. But some tips on maintaining a brighter blonde is to make sure that your client isn't overusing purple shampoo, and if they are using purple shampoo, to kind of guide them to stop using it right before they come see you, so that it kind of gives you a cleaner canvas to work with, especially when you're doing your toner. So right now, before I tone her, I'm going in and just kind of brightening her ends, kind of like doing a wet balayage to kind of get rid of any type of buildup on her hair, and just kind of the overlaying of toners can tend to make the blonde look a little dull. So I find that just adding a little lightener once all the roots are fully processed to kind of re-brighten those ends really does make a huge difference and makes your blondes 1,000 times brighter in the end. But again, I don't love doing this every time a client comes in, because when adding lightener to the hair, it can make the hair feel a little bit drier. So I try to do this with caution and maybe do every other time or every couple sessions to kind of keep the blonde on the brighter side. And for her toner, I normally will just do one formulation. So I do like a pastel type of toner that involves like a really light purple with some pastel like silver tones into it, and I dilute it a lot to kind of make a very platinum-y pastel tone, because all I'm looking for when I'm toning is to cut enough warmth but also make it bright. And so you don't want to have something that is too ashy or not ashy enough. You got to find the right ratio within your color brand to kind of perfect that really platinum-y tone. And for her, because she is mostly yellow, I want to make sure that the formula contains more of like a pastelized like violet versus the silver blue, just to kind of help create a brighter look for this type of look. Now, this particular client, she does have quite a bit of texture to it and frizz, so she always kind of has to heat style her hair, otherwise it kind of poofs up a bit. And because of this, every time we do her color, we do have her get a trim to kind of dust the dead ends. I mean, she does use heat protectant, she gets her trim, she uses low temperature, but she does have quite a bit of a finer texture on top of the frizz that she does have. So there will be a bit of heat damage here and there, but she definitely does take good care of it from time to time, which definitely helps. But I always do trim her hair to kind of keep it healthy and long.
So good.
It's so beautiful. I love it a lot.
Alrighty guys, so here is the finished look. This is how I like to achieve a almost solid blonde with highlights for my bright blonde without making it too silvery, but also not leaving it too golden or warm. I find that I have a handful of clients that love this particular look, and I hope you guys enjoyed some of my tips. Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.